Before this video starts, I want to give a massive shout out to all my channel members. If you want to receive a shout out, then become a channel member today and you'll be shown on screen like all these other channel members here. Anyways, enjoy the video. In version 15.3, we get to see the addition of a brand new Epicfest unit, this being Lunos the Eclipsed, or what I'll be sometimes calling them, D-Lunos, and in this video, I want to go over their kit to see how they perform on the battlefield. Before we start, like, comment, subscribe, the whole ordeal. The footage of Lunos is at level 50. To get us started, let's discuss Lunos' stats. At level 30, they sport a base 91,800 health and deal 32,000 damage with 6.3k DPS. They stand at 250 range and have an Omni Strike of -320 to 350 range, 11 speed, and 2 knockbacks. Just like their Uberfest counterpart, they sport a cooldown of only 9.87 seconds, but are a bit more expensive, costing 4,050 to send out. They both resist and will always knock back floating, alien, zombie, and traitless enemies. When at half health, they get a 50% boost to their damage. They're also a zombie killer, have a conjure, and are immune to knockback, freeze, warp, curse, toxic, and explosion. D-Lunos sports a fairly solid amount of health against his various target traits. Thanks to his resistance, he jumps to 367,000 health against traitless enemies, and his other 3 targets boost this effective health to 459,000. This amount of health, paired with his knockback, allows Lunos to keep and retake ground against a wide host of enemies. Lunos also has a 50% strengthen, meaning at level 30, once his health drops below half their health, their damage jumps to 48,450, allowing them either to get better picks or to deliver a few final blows to a supporting enemy. Lunos sporting both alien and zombie targeting also allows him to be an extremely powerful unit to have over the course of Into the Future, Cats of the Cosmos, and Zombie Outbreak stages, as Lunos could very easily handle most of the stages that take place during these story-based maps. Lunos also comes equipped with a wide range of immunities that match up pretty well into his targets. Knockback immunity is pretty useful against a wide range of his targets, most notably King Wawa, Lord Gravy, Puvsley, and Megamuth. Warp immunity is also very nice on him, as with his alien targeting, he could deny enemies like Starred Pang and Wan from moving him out of the way. Because of his traitless and zombie resistance, warp immunity is also excellent for Eulala and Zappy. These two immunities ensure ground is kept without the risk of unwanted repositions from happening in the first place. Freeze immunity comes in handy against a decent amount of his targets, including Henry, Zionel, Golem Sunfish, and Soractis. Toxic is a pretty rare ability for enemies to have, but on the few enemies it's on, all of them but Dark Joe and a few bosses are enemies Lunos can target, including Gobble, Zolo, Big Peng Z, and Old Stritch. Curse immunity, besides allowing Lunos to properly tank his targets, is also useful in a decent amount of relic enemies due to them being part floating. Besides this, it's also useful for Master Earl and Darvin as to either regain ground against them or to stun them out of an attack for a moment while being able to tank their powerful hits in the first place. Their last immunity is Explosion immunity. This immunity has a few but very solid use cases, specifically against Bunaglios and Awakened Bahamut. Because Bahamut and Shibalian Elite are the only enemies in Bahamut's talent stage, this stage is effectively free with them. Against Bunaglios, their ability to deal good chip damage in a life cycle against the boss and their support, while also being able to withstand Bunaglios' high damage, especially if they crit, is super useful. Now, just like their Uberfest counterpart, their stats on their own make them a fairly solid tanker, being able to have them tank a good amount of damage for a short period of time whether you want, as long as you have the cash for it. However, what elevates this unit to a whole other level, just like their Uberfest counterpart, is the fact that they have access to a conjure. This single ability alone takes a rather solid tanker and turns them into one of the best Ubers in the game. Seeing as Uberfest Lunos has a more defensive conjure with a long mini surge and knockback, Epicfest Lunos sports a more offensive conjure. D-Lunos' conjure sports a double bounty, zombie killer, and a level 6 wave. This conjure is extremely powerful, as it essentially rolls Bullet Train, Slime, and Cadaver Bear into a single attack. Being able to score a good double bounty into plenty of supporting enemies means you can earn a ton of cash very easily. Because of the wave, the usual conjure damage is doubled into any enemy who isn't wave immune. This in turn becomes 91,000 damage at level 30 alone. This sort of offense that can be conjured up at will, and with them having a 9.87 second cooldown, means that it's very easy to get value out of it. Zombie Killer on the Conjure is also extremely useful, as zombies tend to have low cash drops, so being able to extract actual cash from them means you can more easily refill your wallet to make killing zombies way easier. Most zombies also tend to have relatively low health stats, meaning that this can easily chunk a ton of them. The double bounty is perhaps the strongest aspect of this Conjure, because you could very easily use it to kill a wide range of weak peon enemies that drop a decent amount of cash and be absolutely loaded. On screen is a chart that showcases some common peon enemies and their double bounty value, along with another chart with some common supporting enemies. Can is already a premier unit thanks to their double bounty talent and high attack stat, but if you give this to something with area attack and what is effectively double damage means your cash pile will be near bottomless. Though it must be said that there are some stages where reacquiring your cash supply may be trickier, so this is something that must be kept in mind. This mainly comes down to stages that feature a ton of high health enemies, or stages that contain a small amount of support, especially those that don't drop a ton of cash. However, this is less of an issue if you're smart with your money and don't send them right when they're off cooldown. Now, seeing as they're an Epicfest variant, I want to quickly compare them with their Uberfest counterpart. As mentioned before, D Lunos is the more offensive oriented variant, so I'll have more offensive stats, especially after strengthen. What is slightly surprising is that D Lunos has 13,600 more health compared to Uberfest Lunos at level 30. D Lunos is slightly faster and costs 600 more to send out. D Lunos having strengthened is for more consistent damage boosting, while Uberfest Lunos having Savage Blow gives them a chance to deal massive burst damage. The immunities that D Lunos doesn't keep are Surge, Slow, and Weaken immunity. D Lunos losing Surge immunity means that some enemies can eat into their health more easily. Losing Slow immunity does mean that against specific enemies, they may have a harder time reaching them. Last is the loss of Weaken immunity, which can interfere with their damage output. What they received in exchange is a pretty fair trade-off, as having Warp immunity allows them to bolster their ability to fight aliens, and Toxic immunity allows them to fare against the majority of the common toxic enemies in the game. Last is their Conjures, which further emphasize the fact that D Lunos is the offensive counterpart. D Lunos being a full wave with double bounty encourages more aggressive plays, and Z Killer makes it so there's less worry of leaving something like a Zerziel alive. For Uberfest Lunos, the knockback and level 5 mini surge is meant to allow them to deny enemy gains and to more easily retake ground. All of this to show that you use each of the Lunoses a bit differently, but what they bring to the table is still extremely valuable, and one or the other might be better based entirely on your playstyle. So, how good is Lunos the Eclipsed? Well, just like their Uber counterpart, this Lunos is an extremely powerful unit who could be slotted in a wide range of lineups thanks to the constant pressure their Conjure can give. On their own, they're a solid tanker who could deal nice damage and help regain ground from their traits, but this Conjure elevates a solid unit into perhaps one of the best Ubers in the game, and because of their more aggressive playstyle, could be used more easily than their Uberfest counterpart in many lineups. With all that said, I want to thank you for watching this analysis of Lunos the Eclipsed. If you thought this insight was interesting, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy Battle Cats content, and comment down below your thoughts on them. I'd love to hear what you all think. Also, shout out to the following channel members: Dr. Deadly, Gomet, Virus Apero, Just a Shark, Grosscat the Ultra, Potato King, King Wolf, Clamorous, Barely Grover, Jade Rabbit, Janet Goldenberg, Tentacle Gaming, I May Be Dumb, I'm Too Few, Alex Durex, Carlos Fabian, and Pugberto for being silver members or higher. If you want to receive a shout out like these channel members here, then become a silver member or higher today. Becoming a channel member supports what I do in a way that helps keep the lights on and allows me to continue making content for all of you to watch. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day.